Blog Talk Radio.
Hello out there, everybody. It is Friday, February 17th, 2012, and I am David Domzalski, founder of the Financial Bin and host of Financial Bin Radio. Before I introduce you to our guest today, we have two. Let me share some quick notes with you. First off, don't forget to pick up your copy of Entrepreneur Intervention, Triumphs and Failures of Entrepreneurs. You can do so for just 99 cents on Apple's iBookstore, Kindle, Nook, and Sony Reader. And you can also pick up a paperback copy for those that haven't converted to an e-reader yet for just under $10 at Amazon and CreateSpace. All you got to do, go to financialbin.com, click on the book section at the very top, next to the login button for more information. Now, we're also we're in the planning stages of our next book. It's called Wealth Intervention, How to Grow and Keep Your Wealth. We're currently looking for contributors, and the idea of the book is to give people in the Generation Y age group something to shoot for and concrete examples of people who have been there and done it. Just go to financialbin.com, click on Wealth, and you'll find the article talking about it right there with all the details. You can also email us at wealth@financialbin.com for more information or to contribute. Now, this morning, we're joined by Chad Mason and Andrew Oliver. They're the founders of the Sophistocrats, whose mission it is to bring the sophisticated lifestyle back to the forefront of trends. Guys, welcome to Financial Bin Radio.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great this morning. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty good. It's nice to hear from you.
Nice to hear from you guys as well. So let's just jump right into it. I'm glad that you're both able to come on so that we can give the listeners a real good idea of what you guys are about. So first question I have is, can you give the listeners a brief description of what you both did prior to the Sophistocrats?
Well, actually, this is Andrew, by the way.
I'm sorry.
How you doing? I come from a musical background. I went to Full Sail University in Florida, and right around the time when I moved back to Maryland, I worked with a company out here in Maryland, and me and Chad linked up at this company. It was actually a recording studio. He was doing a little bit more of the business side. I was, engineering, doing a little bit more technical stuff, and, we hit it off. We started working. We got our own office. And I guess that was the beginning right there, and we've been working ever since.
So what led you to starting the Sophistocrats? Can you kind of give us the idea, walk us through the process, the idea behind it?
Yeah, the idea behind the Sophistocrats was actually to just have a company that could be lucrative, because before this I did a nonprofit, but to inspire change, to inspire people to want to do better, because I found when I was doing my nonprofit that, a lot of people weren't as willing or as open to give if they didn't know you or really understand the branding or the marketing behind what you were doing. So I started a nonprofit originally thinking, I wanted to give to cancer because I had some family members that had cancer. I had some family members that had heart disease. So I wanted to be able to give to these organizations, but it just wasn't as receptive for some reason. So this was the way that we could make it more, make the masses understand that we were trying to make people better and give, bring about social sophistication.
Well, I can definitely appreciate the what you did in terms of cancer and the nonprofit for that, because my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer a few years ago. Luckily, she recovered fully and everything is in remission. But I can definitely I can understand what you guys have gone through. Yeah.
My mom actually was diagnosed with leukemia when I was in high school, and I lost my mom probably late in 2010. So I definitely understand the struggle behind it, and that was a lot of my inspiration to start the Sophistocrats was to build awareness around just being healthy and just being a good Samaritan or a good person, a good citizen, and those things people don't realize how far that travels and how far that carries over into your life, and those choices you make, they actually can be healthy for you mentally and physically if you do the right things.
Well, I think our listeners can certainly appreciate that as well. Can you kind of tell us about the company in general and maybe go into it a little bit deeper? How does the whole thing work?
Well, this is how the Sophistocrats work. The main thing is that we have a website. You go to Sophistocrats.com, and the first thing that you'll notice is that it's a members-only website. And, you sign up. Usually you'll have a referral from somebody, a friend or a coworker, someone that you know. You get a sign-in, or login password, and login name. You'll create that. And, eventually I have access to the website. As you enter the website, you'll have a blog. You'll notice the blog. You'll notice the offers. You'll notice the guide. You'll notice the members page. And this will be the most part, that you'll get involved with in the site. At the members page, I'm sorry, throw me off that.
So we go to businesses and we evaluate the businesses, establishments, in order to bring you guys basically the best officers. We want to go to a business and showcase what they really have to offer people, because a lot of people don't know what the businesses in the area are. Sometimes you can't find a nice spot to go to unwind, and it's just kind of hard to find. So what we did is we try to become that filter that you have on the internet where, if you're looking for maybe a daily deals or daily packages or new experiences, well, we want to package those things together for you and put a filter on them so that you know that when you come to the Sophistocrats, you're not just going to go to a hole-in-the-wall place, or you're not just going to go to a establishment with bad customer service, because we've already rated these places for you.
Andrew, really quick, is Chad on the same line with you?
Yes, we're on the same line. We're kind of like back and forth.
All right, well, I'm just making sure, because I wasn't sure if you guys are calling on the same line, because we have another caller right now, so I want to bring them in and see if they want to ask you guys any questions.
Okay, great.
Hello, welcome to the FinancialBin.com radio show. Are you on the line? Okay, I guess they hung up. Sorry about that, guys. So next question I have for you is, what is your focus as the founders of such a unique business? Can you give the listeners a brief account of a typical day for you?
A typical day for us, we'll wake up and go to the office. We actually have a home office that we work out of for now. We'll, kind of answer the emails and stuff like that from the day before, and do the whole social media aspect of things. And then we go out and we evaluate businesses. We have a checklist that we use. We look at 5 key things when we go into a business, and that's the design, the customer service, the cost, the overall experience, and whether the place is trendy or not. And we take those 5 elements each day, and we rate businesses from boutiques to boutique hotels to you name it, restaurants, spas, anything that a Sophistocrat would need.
Okay, now I guess I must feel compelled to ask, what is the sophisticated lifestyle to you guys? What does that look like?
That's kind of a trick question.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. To us, the sophisticated lifestyle is honestly kind of just being yourself and not trying. Like it's not to be a schmuck, not to overdo it. You know what I mean?
Okay,
not to
I know
be
what you
one
mean.
that's kind of like in your face with it, because that's not sophisticated at all. So it's just basically about being yourself, being laid back, and wanting to actually want the better choices. You always have the option to do A or B. So we just want you to be able to evaluate A and B and pick what you would consider the better choice, or the more classier, better experience.
So kind of like a better you almost. It's what you're...
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
What we're aiming for. And better experiences, too, because, life is about experiences.
Right.
And the better the experiences that you have, the better time you have here, which I guess goes without saying. So we just aim to just put people in the right direction and bring back a lot of things like, on our blog you'll find content like, opening doors for women, or walking on the side of the street when you're walking with your lady in the parking lot, so she won't get hit by a car.
Right.
Or,
right.
Things like some girls don't know not to put their purse on the floor when they're at a restaurant. I've actually been on a date and had my date sit her purse on the floor, and it's kind of like, Okay, my mom, I'm a guy, but my mom, she told me, ladies don't do this type of stuff.
Right.
And I feel like somewhere in between of everything that's going on, we kind of lost focus on just basic principles and values, and they're kind of considered or deemed to be kind of, I guess, bad for you now. Like, people don't want to do what's right because it's not cool. It's actually cool, It's nothing wrong with it,
Well, I guess this is a little bit off the question list that I have here, but do you think that's a result of, is that a Generation Y thing, do you think, or is that just, that's just the way some people are?
Definitely, and we have that conversation constantly, and that's a lot of the, inspiration behind it. We have friends and peers that we see that we know can be doing better and know right from wrong, and right.
Yeah, no, I definitely can appreciate that. Now, can you kind of give us a little bit, maybe transitioning a little bit from your thoughts on the sophisticated lifestyle, can you kind of give us an idea of the user feedback you've received and how many members you currently have?
Yes. We have about 600 members. We launched at January. We actually launched with 300 users. We had a soft launch, and we had a launch party back in October. And yes, we have about 600 members. 600 members. 300 of them are active on the site, commenting, sending referrals, making friends. I guess a lot of people are just trying to figure it out and see how the different functions are working, because we've been releasing functions as the site builds and progresses and stuff like that. So we've been getting pretty good feedback, and people are starting to get it finally.
So, how about the members of the media? What have they been saying about the Sophistocrats? I know you guys, like you said, you just launched, but have you been getting any feedback in that regard?
Yes. Well, when we first did our first launch, we had a few blogs do, posts on this, on the follow-up of the event, and from the Bitches Who Brunch to Glitterazzi to the Miller Report to what else? And just other sites, like they, like I said, they wrote a lot about the launch party that we had, and just positive feedback. It was pretty good.
Now, you guys right now are just based in D.C., correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
D.C.,
so
Maryland, Virginia, the D.C. metropolitan area.
Okay. So, what are your plans for 2012 and beyond? Do you guys see yourself getting into any other cities soon?
Not into 2012. We just kind of want to focus on. Well, D.C., Maryland, Virginia is a big area. It's
sure.
3 states. So to kind of focus on the areas here first, where we live at and where it's home to us, because there's still a lot of things in this area that we haven't found yet. And that was again one of the reasons for starting Sophistocrats, was because we couldn't find anything to do in the area that
right.
matched our criteria of, okay, let's go out and have a good time and not necessarily be at a club or in a function where it's more laid back, and we just couldn't find those events or those businesses. So this year we just aim to expose every business, I guess, in the D.C. metropolitan area that we feel like fits our criteria. And then hopefully in 2013, maybe we'll be looking at going to another state and duplicating the system.
Well, that would be fantastic. I mean, even if you guys did something where, maybe you guys focused on down there in D.C. and Virginia and all, and then you just had, I don't know, maybe people who are just, who just can see your cause. Maybe you kind of have like franchise it out almost. I mean, that would be
yeah.
Definitely
a thought. We definitely would like to do New York, I guess,
sure.
next. There's a lot of sites that kind of started doing similar things to us that kind of started off in New York. So I think New York is definitely a good market to do what we're trying to do, and that would be probably where we would love to head to next.
Absolutely. I think you guys are onto something here, and I think members of our generation can definitely get behind that and certainly appreciate it, because God knows some people out there definitely need it.
Yeah, They do, and going back to what you said about the whole generation thing, everyone nowadays is so instant. You know, we have instant TV. You have instant. Everything's on demand, from the food to the TV. You know, everything's so quick. So it's nice to see that people can, you know, appreciate us building a brand and taking our time with something for once, and being able to get our message across the way we want to. We have a great publicist, Tiffany Wagner, and she helps us, you know, with communications and just getting everything that we have to say across the way that we want to. And that's definitely a big help because, like I said, in this generation, everything's so fast and instant, you know.
No, absolutely, and I know Tiffany does do great work because her story is actually featured. She contributed a chapter in our book Entrepreneur Intervention, and you know, she's really doing an amazing job. And you know that's obviously we can see that with how you guys are coming along. I mean, you know, just 600 members, and you just started in January. I mean, that's amazing.
And that's I'm sorry to cut you off, but another part, you said how Tiffany's such an important part. Every member of the Sophistocrats is an important part. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Each team member that we have here is an entrepreneur in his own right. Like Andrew said, we met working for someone else. He was doing his thing and I was doing my thing, and those things haven't stopped. You know, they might have slowed down, but they haven't stopped completely because each member of us, we try to do our own thing. We have business. We work with Ventral Business Services, and those are good guys over there. And a lot of people that we work with, we just make sure that if you work with us and you have your own lane that you can drive in, I guess, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely, it does make sense, and I think, you know, people out there who are listening to this show and who are joining you guys and everything, I think that's something that we need to hear more of, and we need more people like you guys building a brand and building an identity, you know, so people can take Generation Y more seriously.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem at all. The next question I have is, I'm not sure if you guys knew or some of the listeners may not know who are just joining in now, but the Financial Bin focuses on personal finance and entrepreneurship for Generation Y. Now, for those out there listening in, maybe they're trying to start a business, what are 2 or 3 tips you guys can offer them about getting their brand name out there?
Well, I'll go first, I guess.
Sure.
I might not have 2 or 3 tips. My main tip that I would say, and I believe this is the most important, is to invest in yourself. A lot of people don't do that. Like, it's one thing to, like, anything you're trying to do, you always have to invest in yourself. You can't be a rapper if you don't buy your own studio time. You can't be a clothing designer if you don't, you know, buy your own fabrics and make your own shirts. You can't just, you know, don't half step it, I guess,
Right.
would be my second tip. You know, invest in yourself and then don't half step it. Make sure that everything you do, that you're happy with it before you put it out. You know, if you're not happy with it and you put it out and the people don't accept it, then it's like, okay, I knew that was wrong, so I shouldn't have done it. But if you're happy with it and you put it out and people don't accept it, you say, well, whatever, that's the best I can do, and you can build off of that. You have a solid foundation. But if you're not happy with it, then like I said, that's a bad step. And most importantly, investing in yourself. And that goes. I know so many entrepreneurs who don't just take the time to invest in themselves, who go out shopping instead of just buying that new website that you need or paying that new developer to add a new function or get your graphics right. Because we're in a visual world, so if you can't pay to invest in yourself, especially visually, and I don't mean, you know, outfit-wise, I mean internet visibly, then I think you're in a bad position, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I was going to turn it over to Andrew and see if he had any tips.
Well, really quick before you jump in there, Andrew, I just want to say, I mean, if you don't invest in yourself, who's going to? Like, you got to start, you know?
Yes, exactly. I remember when we started the Sophistocrats, everyone was like, you know, well, who do you guys work for? We're like, okay, well, we're working for the Sophistocrats. We do it. We are the owners. You know, this is what we do. And they're like, oh, wow, I can't believe that, you know, you guys put so much time into it. And it's like, well, why would we say that we own a business that we didn't put so much time into? And there's a lot of people who have step it, who don't put the actual time and invest what they should invest into their own projects.
Right. Andrew, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
I have 2 tips, and my first one is think, plan, and execute. Since day one, me and Chad, every single move that we've made, we sit down and we talk about it constantly for hours, and we make sure that it's the right decision and that it's the right move, and we're constantly reassuring with each other and making sure that it's the right decision. We think a lot before we actually sit down and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're planning now, and then there's still a whole another process until we turn around and actually do it. So think, plan, and execute, man. That's super important to us. That's super important to our quality and super important into our organization and moving forward and making sure that, we're progressing at all times. And my second tip is to be super meticulous and I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Just understanding and knowing your brand and and like you said, investing into it. You have to know exactly what you want at the end of the day. You have to have the vision yourself before you present it to other people, and you have to make sure that people understand it. A lot of people, I don't want to say didn't necessarily understand the Sophistocrats, but it took them a couple of weeks and months, to understand the direction and that we were going in. So that's the second tip. Just make sure that you're verbalizing your brand the correct way.
Well, I mean, isn't that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, isn't that just part of developing a brand? I mean, sometimes people aren't going to get it. Like, so if I go up and say, I founded the Financial Bin, they're not going to always understand it. But that's why you guys are talking about investing in yourself, and you're talking about executing and doing what you got to do to get it out there. Because then, soon enough, people are going to say, "Oh, the Sophistocrats. Oh, yeah, I've heard of them, of course." So I mean, I guess it's just the legwork that you got to do.
Absolutely, agreed.
Well, guys, I really want to thank you for coming on. I know I kept you over a little bit longer than I told Tiffany, but last thing I have for you is, can you give the listeners how can they get in contact with you, and how can they get in contact with the Sophistocrats?
You can go to thesophistocrats.com. Sophistocrats is SOPHISTOCRATS, and again, that's thesophistocrats.com. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/thesophistocrats, twitter.com/sophistocrats. And then also, if you'd like to send any emails, you can send them to contact@thesophistocrats.com.
All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure, and I like how you touched on the Sophistocrats as a brand, because I really think that's important, and that's how you're going to get your name out there, and that's how you're going to grow. So I want to thank you again, and I know this has benefited me, and I'm sure it's benefited all the listeners out there as well.
It's benefited us to just talk to you, so thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. And I want to extend an invitation for you guys to come back on later this year and kind of tell us about how much your user base has grown and how things are taking off for you.
Definitely, we'd love to come back.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, and you have a great weekend.
All right, you too.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye-bye, guys. All right, everybody, that was Chad Mason and Andrew Oliver, who are the founders of the Sophistocrats. As they said, it's SOPHISTOCRATS, and that's thesophistocrats.com, @Sophistocrats on Twitter. Remember, their mission is to bring the sophisticated lifestyle back to the forefront of trends. I really appreciate your time today. I know this is one of the longer ones, but hey, I mean, they gave us great stuff, and I really hope that you've learned something from it. Again, my name is David Domzalski. I'm the founder of the Financial Bin. host of Financial Bin Radio. Check us out. Oh, actually, really quick, make sure to check out Entrepreneur Intervention featuring Tiffany Wagner, their PR rep. You can do so on Apple's iBookstore, Kindle Nook, and Sony Reader for $10 in paperback on Amazon and CreateSpace. Again, if you have anybody out there may be interested in contributing to Wealth Intervention, we'd love to have them. Just send us an email, wealth@financialbin.com. As I said, I'm David Domzalski, founder of the Financial Bin. Check us out on financialbin.com, and you have a great weekend. Till next time.